What's up YouTube? Capital G here. We got our market watch for the new format, and man, the secondary market is out of control right now. There are things that are going down that are definitely going to surprise some people. So let me tell you guys what the heck is going on in the secondary market. Hopefully save you guys some money or make you some money. So for starters, I guess pretty much the cat is out of the bag about Cyber Angels. Well, I guess you can call it ritual.deck, whatever you want to call it. Pretty much everyone in the community now knows that it topped the most recent YCS, and the hype is definitely real. Don't blame me, by the way. Don't dislike the video. Capital G, look what you did. You posted Cyber Angels yesterday. Now they're expensive. No, I think a lot of people just realize that the deck is better than what they imagine. I mean, when a deck just comes out of nowhere and tops a YCS, a lot of players are going to play it online. I played it last night. It is extremely fucking easy to learn, and when you open with like Herald of Perfection plus Ouroboros, it's extremely strong. When you've got a card like Herald that can stop your opponent from playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and then it's one of the only decks that can like discard multiple cards out of your opponent's hand turn one, because you can Ouroboros them and you can also Saphira them. So like that's really disruptive when you can take two cards out of your opponent's hand and then you have two massive beaters on the field. So Herald of Perfection hasn't been printed in forever. There are three different rarities of it and three different prints, but no matter what print you're at, you're pretty much looking at around $9 minimum, and that's pretty much for the gold series. I'm not the biggest fan of like gold rares. I'd much rather have the ultra rare from Shining Darkness or the ghost rare, but Herald is a card that hasn't been reprinted as a common. You know, there isn't any just random ritual structure deck or anything like that. So this card is sitting at kind of expensive. If you're looking at this 619 right here, this is for a damaged copy, so you can pretty much just ignore that. You know, if you're looking at picking up three of them, you're basically looking at over $25. And by the way, the ritual deck, I don't think we could even think about calling it budget anymore, because about 2 weeks ago it was definitely budget, or like when these cards first came out it was budget, but not anymore, guys. So Cyber Angel Ben 10, currently sitting at a little over $7. This card used to be dirt cheap when it first came out. Like I'm talking about if you first were there, I think August 19th is when Dragons of Legends came out. Like this card was like $3. Like no one was really thinking about Cyber Angels, but people are seeing like the interactions with Heretics, and people are seeing just the ridiculous plays with like Dawn of the Herald and the plays that you can do with Saphira and whatnot. Plus just being able to search out the Star Seraphs is so good. So the card is sitting at about a little over $7. It's over 20 for a playset. Pre-preparation of rights, continuing on with the ritual support. This is a card that everyone knew was already good. I honestly kind of underrated it. I didn't know it was going to be this big of a deal. I played in my Prediction Princess deck, and every time I open it, I'm like, oh my god, this makes it so much better. I understand why you can only activate one per turn, because if you couldn't, like, I'd want this card probably to be limited to one. This card is pretty much a staple in every ritual deck that's not like Gishki, Chaos Max, or Necrise, because it makes your hand ritual ready. And I'm actually kind of surprised that it's only $3. Like I thought this card would be maybe like a solid $5, because it's just so staple. Even if you're not playing Cyber Angel Herald, I mean, if you're playing like Prediction Princesses, you're running 3 copies of preparation, or excuse me, pre-preparation of rights, because it's literally as good as preparation of rights. Ritual Sanctuary is shocking to me. I know how good this card is. I know the interactions with Honest. I played this deck last night, summoning Stick back from the graveyard. It's really good. Even if you just summon like Manju or Senju and you exceed with them, even that play is like pretty strong. But I did not think that this card would be almost $13. I mean, this is damn, guys. This is $12.50 just for one copy. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is a secret rare, so obviously it's going to be a little expensive, but I thought that it would be about a $9 to $8 card. You know, I mean, it could come down, but I don't know necessarily if this ritual support is going to come down, because I think the ritual deck is strong. I think it might even be a top 5 deck right now. Obviously talking about pre-ABC and pre-DDDs coming into the format. I think that it is like maybe about the 4th or 5th best deck in the game. Star Seraph Chair Sovereignty. This card has shot back up to $9. It's always weird that Scepter is basically nothing. Like you literally can wipe your ass with Scepters if you don't have any toilet paper and not give a damn, because they're 50 cents. But Sovereignties are basically like, Sovereignties are so much more expensive. The legend goes that Sovereignty was a short print in World Superstars, and these cards have not been reprinted. I think it's kind of weird. Like, I know the rest of the starter reps don't really matter outside of Stick and Chair. They have an XC that no one really cares about, but I definitely think Konami needs to reprint these. And I know that a lot of people were saying in the past, or some people have even commented that these cards aren't that good anymore. No, I really think that's I really think that is so far from the truth. Like, Stick and Chair are still ridiculously good. I mean, when you can go like turn one, Deltaros, draw a couple of cards, and then like blow up 2 cards on the field, like that's still pretty OP. Or blow a card up on your opponent's side of the field and get a card from their hand from Ouroboros, like that's still extremely good. Opening Stick Chair is still like a massive blowout. The second deck I want to talk about is PK Fire. This deck has seen a lot of its cards go through the roof, and even though they lost a couple of cards, people will have felt emboldened to reinvest in this deck. A lot of people who were playing Pendulums and Monarchs need to, like, you know, they're like, fuck, my Monarchs got wrecked. My Pendulum deck doesn't have, like, I've only got 1 Karen. I need something to play. So a lot of people are flocking to PK Fire, and that's making the card prices go up. If you would have picked up PK Fire before the ban list dropped, you actually would have gotten a pretty good deal. These cards were all pretty much pointed down, and now they've shot back up because people realized the deck didn't get as knocked up as people thought it was going to get, especially Terratop. This is a card that I thought could have been collateral damage, much like Brilliant Fusion, but nope, Konami didn't limit it at all, and it is sitting over $10 a pop. So $30 basically if you're looking for a copy of Terratop and Take-Ten-Bird. Take-Ten-Bird doesn't cost shit. You can get somebody to throw in a Take-Ten-Bird for free basically. Phantom Knight's a break sword. This card did go down to $30 because people were expecting like Dante to get hit. PK Fire wasn't going to be as good. I'm not sure Konami could have personally. I don't need, unless they would have hit Terratop, I don't really know what Konami could have done to PK Fire to make it unplayable. I don't think that there was much. Like, they weren't going to just limit like Ancient Cloak or Boots. Like, they weren't going to hit those cards. So like literally Take-Ten-Bird would have been like, Take-Ten-Bird plus Dante would have been, I guess, hits to really cripple this deck. But like hitting Beatrice does nothing to really hurt this deck. And obviously you're seeing the prices have started going back up. This card is sitting at almost $45, $43 for just 1 copy, which means, by the way, if you were just to buy one, if you were to buy a playset of Terratops plus a break sword, you'd be well over $80. So I mean, I consider $100 to be about budget. This was the most shocking of all the cards. Fog Blade is fucking $20. That is insane. So basically, if you have $100, you cannot even buy 3 Fog Blades and 1 copy of break sword. Like, that's not even close to having the skeleton of a PK Fire deck. Like, this card is a Fiendish Chain. It's searchable. Obviously, that's why it's so strong. Even when it hits the graveyard, it's pretty useful there. But damn, $20. I think a lot of it has to do with Ring Raiders. It's pretty difficult to find, and a lot of the PK cards are like ultra rare and secret rare and stuff, and just pretty much every PK card in that damn set is good. Like, they don't have any like random trash PKs. Even in Invasion Vengeance, when they get their rank up spell, like that shit is amazing too. Ancient Cloak, if you want to run PK Fire, you pretty much need 3 copies of this guy. He's $15 a pop. Everything you're going to see is just on the upswing as far as like Phantom Knights. Like, all the cards have just gotten a massive price increase because there are so many players who were playing older decks. Their decks got wrecked by the ban list, and now they need something to play. They look at PK Fire as a safe pick. Allure of Darkness, I think a lot of this has to do with hype. The Phantom Darkness copies are $20. I used to have a lot of those back in like the GX days, and you know, kind of like when Black Wings were hot at the beginning of like 5Ds. But honestly, it's kind of funny because at its lowest, even ultra rare Allure of Darknesses, which are $20 now, these cards used to be like $3 and $4 because think about during the Zeal era or the Zexal era. For a lot of Zexal, Dark was really not that relevant. Wind-ups, I mean, I guess Insectors were, but you know, think about like Dino Rabbits and Wind-ups, and then when we moved on to full like an elemental game with Fire Fist and, you know, decks like Madolche and Dragon Rulers and Mermill, like no one was really thinking about Dark support. So there was a long time in this game when like Dark really wasn't that relevant. You know, Sylvans and Boojans and stuff, it was pretty much everything but Dark, and Dark was kind of getting shit on. But now Allure of Darkness is a $10 common. I mean, you see the 750 here or the 550, those are damaged copies of the card, so you have to really look at the lightly played and the near mint. If you want to get Allures for your Dark Lords coming out in November, or for your DDDs, or for any other hybrid decks, you're looking at dropping $30, and I would strongly suggest If anybody out there has a copy or has a playset of like some Allure of Darknesses, and you don't have any aspirations to play dark decks, just go ahead and sell them, because this is one card that I honestly don't think it's going to hold its price. You know what I mean? I actually wanted to build this crazy Last Tricks deck that my boy Grand Dungo had a video of. It's so ridiculous. It looks so freaking fun. It summons like what's it called, that heart dragon, the one from Cosmo Blaze with the cover card. It looks really fun, but I'm not probably going to drop 30 bucks on Allures. Solemn Strike, the reprints. I was most interested in this reprint. This guy is currently sitting at about $21, which is about 30% cheaper than the original from Breaker Shadows, almost 30%. That's really good. There aren't that many of them on TCG Player right now. I think as the week goes on, you'll see more people pull them who may already have their Solemn Strikes. I just think the market could possibly get flooded by this, and I think this card could go down a little more, maybe to $18, maybe $19. So definitely, I would say hold out a couple of days before you pick up Solemns now, because I think there's like no chance of the card shooting up. A couple of level 8 synchros that have shot up in price. Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, not as much as Omega. Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, obviously being one of the best cards from Shining Victories. It's the cover card, and when it first came out, it was like a $20 card. I think a lot of people thought that it was going to be a lot more difficult to summon, that only decks like DDDs and Dragunity would summon it inherently, but I've seen a lot of people playing Ultimaya with this card and just summoning it over things like Void Ogre Dragon, over things like Bills, because it's just so strong against fusion decks, against synchro decks, and just against really anything. And then you have Cyframe Lord Omega. This is basically acknowledged to be like one of the best level 8 synchros in the game, maybe the best. This guy being able to dodge removal, well, not during the battle phase of the standby, but you get what I'm saying. The card is sitting at $55 plus. A lot of people think that this is a card in the game that most needs to be reprinted outside of like Minerva. I completely agree. Konami, you definitely got to get this guy in the next Gold Series. Basically in roughly 6 months, we should be getting like the next Gold Series should be coming out maybe February or March of next year. So basically in 6 months, we should be getting a reprint of this guy, hopefully. Blue Eye Spirit Dragon is actually going down in price. It's about $15. This is a non-mint copy, so ignore that. $15, mainly because it's reprinted, not because Blue Eyes isn't strong or anything like that. This card is still good. Blue Eyes is still going to be a top 5 deck. I think a lot of it just has to do with the card has been reprinted. You can still see some of the other Blue Eyes cards, things like Sage and White Stone. They've actually kept over their $20 plus price tags. In fact, Dragon Spirit of White has actually gone up about $1. So people are still very in tune with Blue Eyes. It's just, Spirit Dragon got reprinted. Then the last card I want to talk about is Ally of Justice Cycle Reader. It's basically a countermeasure to use against Blue Eyes, especially in the mirror match or decks that run a lot of lights. Like if you're playing Cosmo, you can't really side in Light Imprisoning Mirror because you'll fuck over your Straw Man and all your other good cards like your Farm Girl, whatever. So you can't side that in, but you can side this card in. Now this card is super out of print. It's an old school card. It's from like 5Ds. It's a dual terminal card, and currently the cheapest copies are a little over $8, which is kind of insane because you can only really play it against light decks. It's not really that useful, but against Blue Eyes, a deck that likes to summon from the graveyard with things like Return to the Dragon Lords and Soul Charge, plus they like to dump a bunch of cards in the graveyard. It's definitely super useful. So let me know what you guys think. It was a lot of cards to cover in this video, I know, but there's just so much shit going on in the secondary market. Give the video a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already.